The following was written by Robert Wright and published in Dodge City, the Cowboy Capital in 1913. With all these movements toward development, improvement, and reform following directly after her great prosperity of earlier days, it would seem that Dodge City in 1885 was on the certain road to further advancement, steady progress, and uninterrupted growth and prosperity. But, lo and behold, a new aspect came over the spirit of our dreams. Dodge City, once famous for its extraordinary prosperity, its lavishness in prodigality and possession of wealth, at one fell swoop was reduced to extreme poverty, almost want. The change was sharp and quick, and almost without warning. The deadline was moved to the state line, and Dodge City lost the cattle trade. She also lost a tremendous freight business by wagon, the buffalo hide and bone industry, and other business incident to a frontier country. Railroads building on the south had absorbed the freight by wagon route, and farmers settling on the lands further reduced the cattle trade. Under this pressure of civilization, the town staggered under the blow. Even the great Santa Fe Railroad felt the loss, for the company was put into the hands of a receiver, and the road's operating expenses were cut in two. It was the Santa Fe Railway which gave Dodge City her start in pioneer life. And with this confidence, we felt if everything else failed, the road would continue to be a source of revenue to the city. Such depression, following so closely on the heels of her great affluence, was truly paralyzing. For 10 long years, Dodge City was suspended in reverses. But during this poverty-stricken period, the process of liquidation was slowly being carried out. Dodge City had had so much faith in her progress and former wealth that a calamity was unexpected. She lost sight of the fact that the unnatural extravagance of that former wealth and progress was bound to bring a reaction sooner or later. In this depression, property went down to 5 and 10 cents on the dollar in value, or you could buy it for a song and sing it yourself. People would not pay taxes, and the county became possessed of much valuable real estate, while hundreds of speculators were purchasers of tax titles. Many of the business houses closed, and large numbers of residences were without tenants. Parties were invited to live in them rent-free, so the insurance could be kept up. And the same depression was felt in land and cattle. Good cows sold for $8 to $10. Land around Dodge sold as low as 50 cents per acre. The writer's land, a tract of 7,000 acres, was sold under the hammer at less than 50 cents per acre, and some for less than that price. Our town and country was likened to a rich family which, through extravagance and bad management, was reduced to extreme poverty. When they were down to the lowest ebb and everything was gone, the head of the family caught the eldest son in tears. He said to him, "My son, what are you crying for?" "My God, father," he replied, "we have nothing left whatever." "That is so, my son, but cheer up," the father said. "Don't you see? We are at the foot of the ladder, and we can go no further down, so we are bound to climb." Thus it was with Dodge City. She was at the very foot of the ladder and was bound to climb, and so she did, after she started, slow at first, but after we caught our second wind, then by leaps and bounds, we commenced to go up. Our wheat, which had been selling for 40 cents per bushel, went up to 60 cents. Our season began to improve, and our farmers take fresh heart and put in a larger acreage of wheat and other crops, and cattle began to go way up. Our people sold their wheat and invested in cattle, and sold their increase in cattle and bought cheap lands. And so it went. until our country got to be the third largest wheat county, 2 or 3 million bushels each year. In the harvest of 1912, Ford County was second in Kansas in wheat production. With the proceeds from their wheat, farmers bought more land and erected business houses in Dodge City. And now Dodge can boast of the second finest courthouse, if not the finest, in the state. A handsome city hall, a great system of waterworks and electric lights, and splendid buildings, while our jail is a modern building, and our schools and magnificent churches are second to none. Out of a great conflict rises a period of prosperity. To have gone through this endurance of adversity equipped the people with courage and a sense of stability and prudence, which not only gives them caution, but nerve in making Dodge City the commercial city of western Kansas. Robert Wright. After the cattle drives ended, Dodge City's economy had to adapt. Agriculture would become its greatest economic force, and the farmer replaced the cowboy. Although the wealth from the millions of Texas Longhorns would be spent and lost during the following economic recession, the great fame Dodge had attained during that period would survive. Tourism would eventually become another great source of income for Dodge City, although it would take years to develop. In 1932, the Beeson Museum opened, displaying artifacts and the history of Dodge City. A new, larger museum would take center stage in Dodge, the famous Boot Hill Museum, which began in 1947 and would acquire the majority of the Beeson Museum collection. About 85,000 visitors flock to Boot Hill Museum each year. 95% of the visitors are from out of state. Dodge City had once been a cowtown full of gambling, and, interestingly enough, those two businesses returned. In 1961, the first meatpacking plant opened in Dodge City, owned by High Plains Dressed Beef, today known as National Beef. And in 1980, another meatpacking plant was opened, this one owned by Cargill. Together, the two meatpacking plants process from 8,000 to 10,000 head of cattle each day of the work week. In 2009, the Boot Hill Casino and Resort opened in Dodge City. The casino is owned by the state of Kansas, and during its first 10 years, generated over $12 million in city and county tax revenue, and over $89 million in state tax revenue. Agriculture, tourism, cattle, and gambling all have an important place in modern Dodge City's economy.